One thing that's definitely taken a few pelters is the difference in structure, or should I say the rules, playing each other once, the playoffs at the end, and then even who's won. Like, even I was confused, like, who's actually won the league this season. Is it Highgate? Is it AFC Hammersmith Town, who obviously pretty much went on unbeaten this season, but obviously lost the final game? What's your response to that?
I think people think anything that's new is confusing. I mean, for the most part, it is at first.
Who did win the league anyway?
Well, Highgate with the champion. Whoever wins the league playoff is the champion. Okay. I mean, as far as I understand the format, it's pretty simple to me. But maybe because this was in discussions from just before COVID, maybe I'm just used to the understanding of it. But it isn't difficult. I just think the teams wanted 3 competitions or three trophies to win. One is a league cup, or one is a league title, one's a league championship. So, for me, it's not that difficult. I think...
so AFC Hammersmith Town have the league...
So they finished top. So it's kind of like in the Bundesliga, you get the winter champions crest or whatever. So they finished top, you get a trophy for finishing top, but that's not the league title because you only play each other once.
Right.
So, I mean, for me, I was speaking to Drew, Drew and DeQuincy, let's not forget the little individuals who run the league. They absolutely hate when people say I run the league because obviously they're the ones doing the groundwork. But when they're speaking to me, they're like, okay, well, what should you do? I said, well, just put a social media post out saying who the league champions are. Really simple. That went out and people are still confused. I'm like, I'm not too sure masses of people are confused.
Highgate Albion, which we'll get onto as well, coming, winning and ducking out. Like,
yeah, but that was, I don't know if I'm surprised or disappointed. I'm one of them. Yeah.
So talk to me about those teams. Why are they running from the SFL? What was their reservations? Because obviously there was talks around getting Baiteze and Hatch Lane involved at the start, if I'm correct.
I mean, I think a lot of us would have lost a lot of money if we bet, because I would have expected there would have been no way those teams wouldn't have been, at least most of those teams wouldn't have been in the SFL. But the reality is what the reality is. Forget about SFL. Just talk about good teams not joining any particular league. I mean, no league is perfect. Then you got to look at travel. Then you got to look at what their players want. Then you got to look at comfort zone, because I'm sorry, you have a right to stay in your comfort zone. This isn't university or some sort of individual progression pathway. Like, well, mate, you need to come out your comfort zone, otherwise you're never going to grow, you're never going to reach your full potential. This isn't the army. Teams want to play for fun. If teams want to play for fun or compete within their comfort zone, they have a right to. And for me, from what I can see as a county FA employee, that's what I see. I see they have a comfort zone there. They're still going to be able to play these teams in the London Cup. Olympia, Baiteze, Hatch Lane, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. When you draw one of those types of teams, you think to yourself, oh no. Yeah, Olympia, even when Olympia lose, even when Olympia play terrible, they're still difficult to beat. I felt SC Dons outplayed them in the semi-final so far, and it still went to extra time. I go to a different cup final, a Barnet Cup final, Olympia just didn't really turn up, and they still only lose 1-0, and that team had to scrape to beat them. So even when they're terrible, they're still difficult to beat. And when they're good, when those teams are good, it's a long day. These are teams who would easily compete step 4, step 3 in the National League system, probably would go to step 2 and survive. You're dealing with some really, really good players. However, they're not joining the SFL. There's loads of reasons. Travel, comfort zone, what's in it for them? I think travel's probably the biggest one, because it is a South London dominated league. And even though the travel probably wouldn't be as bad as they think, and then there's the backlash. What happens if you don't like it? Can you then go back to your original league? It's difficult. So it's a lot of risk. I'm not sure the risk is worth the reward for them in their eyes. At the same time, how many times are you going to win your league?
Exactly. Yeah. But it also leads me on to Highgate Albion. They came into the league, one season, won everything pretty much, and now they've gone. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so definitely a surprise. But I think from their management team, it might just be a bit of clever management, because I'm sorry, there's no such thing as control, Like, come on, I work for County FA, I run, 30, 40 competitions, I'm a referee, you're not in control of anything. Meaning you'll always be dictated to by your players. And I think if their players were a bit uncomfortable with the travel or just didn't want to, then, the management team have to listen to that. You've got to listen to that, I'm sorry, you have to. If that's what it was for them, then fine. But, as you can see by the results, London Cup winners, National Cup finalists, every single time they didn't win the London Cup, the winner has had to come through them. If they win whatever league they go in, they win. It is an excellently run team, as you can see. So yeah, shout out to them. But no, definitely, I don't know what adjective am I going to go for. I'm going to go surprised. Definitely surprised they left after one season. I know the SFL definitely aren't happy because I remember De Quincy saying he wouldn't have let them in if he knew they were going to do that. But I don't think they knew they were going to do that. So it just is what it is.